1 in 2 people at 2050 throughout the world will have myopia. Means that we are focusing on the kids now. So 6 year, 7 year old now kid, if we don't focus on the screen time, going outside and everything, there are increases of myopia. For example, I have myopia. So they during the in schools they check for your annual visual exam, and I was not able to read the last 3 lines. So they had my glasses right away. For the next exam, I memorized everything already on the board, and then I was able to tell them even though I didn't see the properly.
So many people do
So many
this.
people do that. You see the A? No, I can see the Z itself. So, and after that, it slowly progressed. I started at -3, which was around 6, 7 years of age. It went up to 5, 5.5. At what age does it stop growing or increasing?
Right. So myopia overall starts somewhere around 7, 8.
Mm. One other thing, when you say myopia, people always say power of the eye, right? Well, what is your power? Is that generally myopia?
No, no, it's not. Okay, let's break it down. Refractive error overall can be split into 4 parts, 4 components. It could be in combination, but predominantly 4 different parts. Myopia, which is minus power.
Minus is you cannot see far, you could see only
Correct.
close by.
Correct. Then you have plus, which is hyperopia. Hyperopia is you cannot see close, you can see far. Okay. Third is astigmatism. Astigmatism is different from these two because this is basically your dome shaped round cornea has become like the back of a spoon. So on one axis alone, there is power, on the other axis is normal. So you start looking elongated or skewed in some ways. That is astigmatism. And the fourth one is presbyopia. Presbyopia is age related, 40 and above kind of thought process. It's changing to 38 and above because of our lifestyle changing. But anything to do with age related is called presbyopia. So we leave the presbyopia part aside. We'll talk about these 3 or maybe only the 2. Hyperopia is less common. Astigmatism can come in combination of either of these 2. Myopia with astigmatism, hyperopia with astigmatism. I hope that gives an analogy of where are the refractive errors that we are dealing with.
But the most common is myopia.
Most common is myopia. Any day. And most of the treatment options also have been focused towards myopia because of the incidence being so high. So much so, let's break down myopia in the younger age group. Let's talk about first treatment, right? Let's talk about treatment. If you talk about treatment of myopia above the age of 18 and below the age of 18, there is no treatment for below the age of 18 because the eye is still growing.
Eye stops growing at the age of 18.
18. Okay. So 18 is my ballpark to give everybody. 18 and below, don't do a refractive surgery until you absolutely need it. Like if you have losing vision in one eye, okay, I will do it. Apart from that, there's no reason to do it. So 18. Above the age of 18, you have LASIK, you have SMILE. These are the 2 major procedures. LASIK is basically a 22 mm big cut is made all around, a flap taken out, like you have an orange peel. How many of you have seen an orange peel, right? If you see an orange peel, you peel off that, shoot the laser at the bed of that orange and put it back.
Wow.
What we are doing with LASIK is basically restructuring the eye, restructuring the shape of that cornea. In other words, I am sculpting. I'm sculpting on the cornea. So if I'm sculpting on the cornea, I need enough thickness on that cornea, number one. If I sculpt on something very brittle, it can break, it can rupture, it can do anything. So I need enough particular thickness. So we keep our safe ground before we do any of these procedures. In interest of not confusing the audience, I'm not going to tell you the numbers because it's very confusing.
Yes.
So I need to sculpt on the eye. That is LASIK. So I've made a 22 mm big flap like an orange peel, short the laser, and put the flap back on.
This is what they call laser surgery.
This is called laser surgery.
Ah,
It is done in 2-3 formats. You can use a blade to do this. You can use laser to make that flap. Okay. Now let's go to smile. Smile is exact analogy is very simple. You had the big surgical incisions before, and now you have the laparoscopic incision. You have the laparoscopic tube, which can go and do the same surgery and come back. In the same way, in the smile surgery, you're making a 4 mm incision,
smaller.
smaller. From 22 mm, you're making it a 4 millimeter incision and taking out the lenticule. So you're basically making a sandwich with laser. So laser shoots here, laser shoots here. You're taking out this sandwich through a 4 mm incision. So
4 mm is so tiny.
it's so tiny. It's a laparoscopic. The analogy to this is the laparoscopic procedure. And that really has changed the way that your corneal nerves are preserved. Your dry eye is less. Your healing is better, stronger. You can go a little bit more with the thickness. So even if it's a little thinner, you can still do smile.